I went to film school, and there was this rumor going around when I was like a sophomore that there was like a ranked list. Some group of students, probably film production majors, had published this list ranking all the majors at said film school. I have never seen this list. I have just heard it like a mythical legend, as they say, like Candyman or Slender Man or what's her name? Mary Jane? No, Bloody Mary. I feel like if you went to this school, you know what I'm talking about. It wasn't a scandal, but it was like disrespectful. And film production was at the top, which is how I know that the film production students made it. It was so nasty. It was so nasty, and it haunts me to this day. It was so rude. It was like, there is no movie without the script. Hello. We should actually be on top, but that's not true. And I'm going to tell you why that's not true. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. Welcome to Too Cool Cinema, where I talk about movies and TV shows and cinema and Bill Hader, probably. I will talk about Barry, trust. Also, Bill Hader was my commencement speaker. Not to brag, but to brag. But not to brag. I brag, humble brag. Also, you might be wondering why I'm wearing all this. We'll get to that. So stay with me, but you already know. If you know, you already know. This might be a little distracting. What are we talking about? Movies, TV, film production majors. Allegedly, in the movie world, director is king. But is that true, or is that just propaganda? Propaganda I'm not falling for. Director is king. Is that still trending on TikTok by the time I put this video out? Probably not. Probably negative. So it always bothered me that there was this like ranking hierarchy thing on like film, because art is supposed to be collaborative, film is supposed to be collaborative. We shouldn't be ranking people. I understand there's a hierarchy of order. I'm not saying like, make everyone the PA and the director the same level in terms of like order and vision. I'm saying like, we don't need to rank the importance of a role. Like, the movie would not get done without the lighting. The movie would not get done without the writing. Ooh, that rhyme. The movie would not get done without talent, without camera, without crafty, without someone taping those damn wires down so people don't trip. The movie would not get done without more than just the director or the producer. Okay? So I came across this interesting Frances McDormand clip during one of my morning doom scrolls. As they say, I believe that is the medical term. She said that film is an editor's medium.
Because I believe that film is an editor's medium. I don't think it's an actor's medium. It's not a director's medium. It's an editor's medium.
So then I opened the comments, because I can't watch a video without opening the comments, because I want to have like a conversation with my buddies, with my fellow viewers. And then someone was like, I have the quote written somewhere. Oh, it's here. Okay, I wrote it down. 100%. It's written in the editing room. One could make an entire movie with... I can't read this. With pieces and parts of stock footage if they had to. So is that a challenge? AKA a distraction for me to do while I not do other things that I'm supposed to do, like fold my clothes. They're clean. They're just in the stupid laundry basket. If that's true, if it's written in an editing room, and if you really could make a movie entirely just like as an editor without anyone else, I always thought film was a collaborative effort. But if it's true that the one role you need to make a movie is just be an editor and you don't really need anything else, let me put that to the test. Because who else is gonna? You? No, that's why you're watching this. Not to disrespect you. Feel free to put it to the test. Or you can stay and watch this. Or you can watch this and put it to the test at the same time. Multitask. Actually, I heard multitasking is bad for you. I don't remember why, and I don't remember where I heard it. So don't take my word for it. The only editing, I don't have much editing experience. The only editing experience I have is when I used to make those One Direction edits and those Smosh edits. And if you're good and you stay until the end of the video, I'll show them to you. Oh, I'm cringing so hard. They're from like high school. But that's the only editing experience I have. Oh, I will take this theory all the way to the max and answer the age-old question, the question since the dawn of time, the question that was here before religion. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Please, I'm kidding. What is the question? I wrote it down. Good thing I write things down. Who is the ultimate film position? What position makes it a movie? I guess, is what I'm trying to say. What's the movie? What are you gonna do? That's a good question, audience. I decided to take my 2008 camera to the Beyonce concert This ain't Texas. In a hold on. Yeah. One by one, you hang them high. You guys, I had so much fun. I love Beyonce. You know what? Skip this and go to this timestamp if you don't want Cowboy Carter spoilers. Oh my god, when the dress changed. I'm happy I got to go to Cowboy Carter because I think she did top Renaissance. How does she always top herself? I love Beyonce. I wish I could be like Beyonce. This video is not about Beyonce, but I am trying to make it about Beyonce, so just bear with me. Okay, so I took my 2008 camera to the Beyonce concert. You might be wondering, Sarah, why do you have a camera from 2008? Well, I'm Miss Obama. Top Obama. Here's the thing. The camera has a really bad mic. The footage was shaky, so I did have to borrow from a lot of people. So I took as much of the footage that I could use from the Beyonce concert because I also wanted to have fun. I'm not gonna stand there and go like this and make sure everything's in focus and everything it looks good and sounds good. Girl, I'm trying to have fun. Do you know how much I paid to be there? Do you know how much it cost emotionally to be there? I can't even talk about it. I cannot even talk about it. Yeah, some of the footage was bad, so I had to borrow. And I would just like to point out that this movie that I'm about to show y'all would not exist if without the help of other camera people, other DPs, cinematographers, other folks behind the camera. They go, you know. Look, I don't know what it takes to be a cinematographer, but I respect it heavily. And I would like to point out that you can't just be an editor. You already need the footage to exist. So you need someone with a camera that has usable and watchable footage. So already you're out of luck by trying to ride solo on a movie, on a quality movie, okay? Next question. I did credit all the folks in the description. I used videos from YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, I think. Thank you so much to those people. You're amazing. I got the footage and then I waited a little bit, like a few weeks, like Sean Baker said. He says, wait a few weeks after getting the footage before you edit it. And he just won an Oscar, so I feel like I should listen to something he says. When I was ready, I finally opened Premiere Pro, and even though I don't know how to use it, I thought this would be the perfect time to learn it, and I feel like I should have something true on my resume. I opened Premiere Pro, and then I was like, oh, I don't have any of this footage organized, so I organized it. That's a little editing trick. Organize your footage. Editing tips from Too Cool Cinema, Sarah. I opened a bunch of YouTube tutorials and then 3 hours later, I gave up. Because Premiere Pro is hard. I started crying and it was like really early in the morning / late at night. It's like 1 or 2 a.m. And I just was like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I was like, you know what? One day I'm gonna learn it, but God did not intend for today to be that day. I closed it and I imported it into Final Cut Pro. Oops. You know what? Who cares? And movie's a movie, and editing software is an editing software. Didn't they just make that Oscar-winning animated movie on some free animating software? Who cares? Industry standard? More like pigeonholed. Editing is for the nocturnal, and while I am naturally nocturnal, need to stay awake during the day because I have a job. Premiere Pro is actually so horrible to use, and it's so not user-friendly, and I don't care what anyone says. I don't understand why we use it, and I probably will one day, but I'm not wise enough to understand right now, so don't try to explain it to me. I reviewed the footage, and that's when I realized most of it was not usable. And I had to create kind of like a mini shot list, because I went into recording it with no story. I was just like, I'm just gonna record random footage, because they said it's written in the editing room. I took that comment very literally. Here's my makeshift shot list. It's not an official shot list. I just had to like organize it somehow in my thoughts. I have all my footage organized. I have my shot list. Now I need to make my story. And I can't just raw dog the editing because I tried to do that. And if you edit something, and I know this from editing all those One Direction edits, if you edit something start to finish, it takes a ridiculous amount of time. And you waste so much time. And you have to keep like watching it back, and it's so horrible. You have to like do it in chunks. Cut out all the footage you don't want, and then reorganize it all. And then, I don't know, you just have to do it in chunks. Add all the text at once, because it uses different parts of your brain. So when you do multiple like jobs at a time, and just to go in order, it's just, dude, just don't do it. Just go by, does that make sense? You know what? It does. I had to figure out the story so that I could like cut out all the footage or arrange all the footage how I wanted it to, and then cut it all out, and then add sound, and then add transition, and then add, change the coloring, everyone's gonna make fun of me, but I don't care. Add the LUT, the LUT, girl, I don't know. But I'm gonna learn for the love of the movie, the love of the art. I did want to avoid copying the same story as Cowboy Carter because the tour itself has a story, the show itself has a story. I will say, unfortunately, most of my usable footage is just of the visuals. It's the same spirit. It's definitely the same spirit, and you'll see why. But I tried to make it a different story. I tried to make it like, it's not necessarily a story. I will say that this movie, it's not necessarily a story about, like, I think what Cowboy Carter is. I think it's more a story of, like, don't let unqualified people tell you who you are and what you can do. There you go. I was still pretty overwhelmed, and I was like, okay, how do I do this? Well, I actually just was like, I need to sort this clips into some kind of story. So I made a witch hat that I learned in middle school. Witch hat of like all the audio bites that I really liked and all the footage I really liked, and I just like mashed it all together, or not mashed it all together, but I like chose the main points that I wanted to include them in and like what order I wanted to include them in, and then kind of filled in the rest. It was just a puzzle. Editing and writing is really just a puzzle. You have all of the information, all the pieces there. You just need to arrange them in a way that is nice to look at, or is like makes sense for you, because there could be multiple ways to arrange them in a way that makes sense, but they're all different. Okay, it is the next day. I had to go to a jazz concert. I have my witch hat, which I would just like to point out, so far I have needed a cinematographer, a writer, and an editor, because to make this you have to have basic understanding of story. You can't just make a movie and have it not have any sort of story or like narrative, right? To say it's written in the editing room means that your editor needs to have some sort of knowledge of story, needs to have some sort of knowledge of how story works, some sort of intuition of how story works, some sort of something. I can't remember who, but someone said to be a good filmmaker, you kind of have to know a little bit about everything. There should be no tier list because everyone's important in art. I was really overwhelmed because I had my little witch hat. I had like tons of clips that I was just really overwhelmed with, like finishing that puzzle. I had just way too many pieces, and I like wasn't sure exactly what clips I wanted to use at what moment, because it's like 4 or 5 minutes. So I made little storyboard thingy stick figure. They're just stick figures. But you see, I did all this without even starting to like splice things together and really start like what is considered the editing process. I just want to point this out that you know what I'm trying to point out. I'm just trying to point out like how many other skills you need other than just editing to make a movie by yourself. Again, I'm not trying to hate on this comment. I'm just saying, how literal are we taking it? I'll be honest, my like storyboarding was not exactly the same as my witch hat. Is fine. I think that just reminds us that in art you're allowed to like change your mind, and you're allowed to grow as an artist even if you're growing within the hour because you've changed your mind or you've learned something or you have a different vision for some reason. That's okay. I think like personally as an artist, as a filmmaker, I get so boggled down in my original idea and my outlines, and I'm like, I have to stay on topic, I have to stay on track, but it's like okay to veer off. It's okay to veer off if like you feel like something else is calling to you, like your creativity has tapped into another aspect. So just a reminder, it's okay to change your mind when you're making art, and just in general. This applies really just to art or film. I don't know. Be who you are. It's fine. Just do whatever you want. Like within the realms of like humanity and like respecting other people and respecting yourself. So after prep, it took about 24 hours to put it all together because, like I've said, I have my experience with my One Direction and my Smosh edits, which I will put at the end if you're good. If you're being good and behaving, I'll put that at the end. What if I don't? What if I just tricked you to stay until the end of the video? Don't skip. It's illegal to skip. I can literally see you right now. I don't do it. I can see you. I don't know if this is unconventional as an editor. You let me know, editors at home. That kind of rhymed. I started actually with the audio first, mainly because like I had more usable footage than I did usable audio. I had, I think, like 2 or 3 of my own audio clips I could use, and then everything else was just like... Yeah, I edited the audio track together, and then I actually fit in the footage accordingly. I built the whole movie around the audio, which I think is really interesting because film is supposedly a visual medium. Well, not supposedly, it is. It's not oral. It's a visual medium. That's why there was film with no sound. But you can't just have sound with no film. That's just radio or music or whatever. Podcasts, even though I don't think we need more of those. I think that that's very interesting that as I was editing a movie, a short film, if you will, it's really a fan edit, but I like to call it a movie because I said so for the purposes of this exercise. I didn't really realize, I think I do that a lot when I edit, and I don't think I realized that I do that a lot until I had to like take notes on how I edit. So that's really cool. Let me know if that's weird. Let me know if you do that. Let me know if I should quit film and do radio apparently instead. You let me know. Let me know maybe I should be a DJ. What's a DJ song? You got that boom boom pound. So yeah, after I did the audio, it was like more or less really easy to fit the visuals with it. Since Beyonce won't drop the visuals, I had to fit the footage together like a puzzle. It took like 24 hours because I'm talented. And because it was very short, and because Beyonce had already essentially written the story, but I rewrote it. So it's a remake, if you will. And if Disney can do it a million times, why can't I do it once? So after several rainbow spinning breakdowns, because Final Cut Pro, while I love you, you don't handle a lot of footage very well. I just have to point that out. So Apple, get on that. So I don't have to switch to Premiere Pro, because I really don't want to. Please don't make me. Should I get an eyebrow lift? Wow, I look cute when I put my eyebrows up. I will show this movie, but right before I do want to point out that when I was trying to make it perfect, it took me weeks. I went to the first show in LA, and I got all my footage that day, and it took me a month to make this because I sat on it for like 3 weeks because I was so scared that I was gonna mess up. I was like, I have to make it perfect. I have to think through this. I have to be really prepared. You don't have to be prepared, or not prepared. No, yeah, you don't really have to be prepared. Now's the time to do it. Now's the time to make mistakes. And I think like I have had a lot of people say this to me, but I don't think I really understood it until now. You have to love the process. You have to love I love the process of editing when I don't have to do it for another person who keeps texting me. I love the process of editing. You have to love the process because the process is what makes it. And if you just love the result, or if you're just trying to rush through the process, art's gonna be crappy. That's why Lilo and Stitch was so bad. They probably rushed through it. And they also got rid of DEI, which is also, they need DEI to make good art. I just want to point that out, which I could make a whole other video on that. And there are probably videos on that exist. My point is, surround yourself with collaborative artists. Surround yourself with people who respect your vision. Surround yourself with people who respect your position. Find people who want to uplift you. Find people who don't laugh in your face when you say, I want to do this artistic thing. I want to do that thing. I want to complete this dream. Surround yourself with people who say, yeah, be weird. Grow a wing. Drink a Red Bull. Who cares? And without further ado, I present to you my movie inspired by Miss Beyonce Knowles Carter and the Cowboy Carter Tour. I don't have a title for the film, which is probably an issue. I present to you, Don't Let Them Tell You What You Can or Cannot Do. That's the title of the movie. Or how about this? I present to you my proof that art is collaborative. That's the title of the movie. Enjoy the movie.
I can travel to any country in the world. This great power wants every country under this world.
Why does it have to be, yes, queen, queen babe? But no, she's not a queen. But so now she decides to take a step into the country lane. Most Americans in red states have been loving and enjoying it long before Queen Bey decided to stick her big toe into the lane.
The flag is drinks with our blood. This country was built on the black back of black people, and if we don't have it, you ain't gonna have it either, because we gonna have it. And people ought to understand that.
I want to hear an American call.
You ain't nothing but
You know something American.
You ain't nothing
We are not going back. We are not going back.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong.
But then they rigged the election, and now we won, so I'm going to be your president for the Olympics and for the World Cup.
Don't you ever give up. Don't you ever give up on you. Don't you ever give up on your dreams.
I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings and we're not.
Them man call us a minority. There's a billion black people, there's a billion white people. What's minor about that? I'm major, bro. I ain't taking nothing minor at all.
money, but they never take the country out me.
I said they never take the country out me.
Can you hear me? Or do you hear me?
Black people started country. Black people started rock. Black people started all this shit.
She's coming.
This election is the best example of why y'all are so afraid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, because then you can't have a simple-minded, underqualified white man somehow end up ascending. Instead, you've got to pay attention to the qualified black woman.
This
country is ours. It doesn't belong to whoever is in the White House.
America has a problem.
It belongs to you. It belongs to us. It belongs to we, the people.
I'll tell you what freedom is to me. No fear. I mean, really, no fear. If I could have that half of my life, no fear. Lots of children have no fear. That's the closest way, that's the only way I can describe it. That's not all of it, but it is something to really, really feel.
Thank you. Oh my god. Did anyone hear that? I hope you enjoyed that movie. I hope you stayed for the end credit scene. Love that show. I want to go back so badly. Guys, what if I flew to Paris? One by one. Something's in my eye. I do want to say again, thank you to all the people who I used their footage. Thank you to all the channels, all the profiles. Here is the lifelong question that many of you have been asking. You've been Googling, you've been asking Siri, you've been asking Alexa, some of y'all ChatGPTing. That's a choice. So is film and editor's medium? Is editor king? Is director king? Is film production the best major that Chapman University could have ever offered the universe and the children, the great children that attend it? No. No. Film is a collaborative medium because it takes, you know how it takes a village to raise a child? It takes a village to set up the crafty table and keep the flies away from the morning muffins. There you go. It takes a village to get the lighting rig to not fall on everyone. And everyone's so stressed out and sweaty in the morning. It takes a village. People can't do it by themselves. And even with the village, people get so stressed out because they're so overwhelmed. Stop trying to think that you can make movies by yourself. That's why it's bad. And it's okay to be an artist who makes mistakes as long as you go into it with curiosity, vulnerability, authenticity, and creativity. And no cavities. I will say, since this was a politically charged movie, I feel like I don't owe anyone my politics, but I already put out a like I said, politically charged project, so I feel like I should say something. I just want to say that I personally, I never have, and I might likely never will, but you know, never say never. Justin Bieber, Jaden Smith, I don't associate with a political party. I don't like them. I think that at the end of the day, Democrats and Republicans, their primary goal is to keep capitalism alive, and I that's not my goal. My goal right now is to just get dental. That is the goal that I reach. After that, I don't know what's gonna happen. That being said, Kamala Harris is objectively more qualified to do anything than Donald Trump. Just like an objective point of view. Objectively, a roll of wet paper towel on a cold winter day is more effective than Donald Trump. So enjoy your low grocery prices. Enjoy your misogynoir. Enjoy. That being said, free Palestine till it's backwards. Free Puerto Rico. Free Hawaii. Free Sudan. Free Congo. Free Haiti. Free every country that France has ever touched. Free the public from Emilia Perez. I will never stop hating on that movie. Chase your dreams. Kiss that girl or boy or they them with consent. Dream big. Sparkle on. And join me in my next video where I run for president and lose against the ghost of Duolingo because y'all hate to see women of color do anything. Bye. Bye. Bye.
I hope you know how much I love you. If you loved me, you would come home. I feel so sad. I tried to. I didn't ask you to come. I didn't want